Hello, good morning everybody. Today we are going to study about the third cranial nerve. You know there are 12 pairs of cranial nerves which originate from the brain, and they are supplying the various muscles and organs in the body, and they are controlled by the brain. You know that. So the optic nerve is being taught in physiology. It is the optic pathway that you all are supposed to remember. After I finish teaching these nerves, I will deal with the cranial nerve. The first one is olfactory, optic, oculomotor, isn't it? Trochlear, trigeminal, abducent, facial, stetoacoustic, hmm? vagus, hypoglossal, and accessory spinal nerves. Sorry, accessory spinal nerve and the hypoglossal nerve and the glossopharyngeal nerve. So these are the nerves these are the cranial nerves. Okay, they are motor as well as sensory. Some are purely sensory, some are purely motor. So today we are going to talk about the oculomotor nerve. The oculomotor nerve, the name itself indicates that it is purely motor in nature. That's why it is the oculomotor nerve. It is also called as the third cranial nerve. It is also called as the third cranial nerve. Okay, this oculomotor nerve, got it? It is originating in the sorry, it is originating in the midbrain, and it passes through the superior orbital fissure, and it is dividing into two branches, the superior branch and the inferior branch, and it is supplying the muscles of the eyeball or the extraocular muscles which are involved in movements of the eyeball. In addition to this oculomotor nerve, it is not only supplying the muscles of the eyeball, but it is motor to these muscles, and it has a parasympathetic branch. Got it? Parasympathetic nerve. Got it? Which is also originating from the same nucleus, and this is supplying the iris, the pupil. Got it? It is supplying the iris, the pupil. Got it? And it is also supplying the ciliary muscles of the eyes and the lens. So it is supplying the iris, the pupil, the ciliaris muscles, and the lens of the eye. Okay. Some fibers also reach to the distal part of the upper lip. Got it? Some fibers also reach to the distal part of the upper lip, which I will discuss later on because of the parasympathetic supply. Okay, while teaching the clinical anatomy. So to repeat again, the oculomotor nerve, the name itself suggests it is purely motor in nature. Got it? It is the third cranial nerve, and it is originating by the nucleus, two nuclei which are present in the midbrain. Got it? And from there, it is from the posterior cranial fossa. It passes into the middle cranial fossa. In the middle cranial fossa, it lies in the cavernous sinus, and from the cavernous sinus, it passes through the superior orbital fissure, and then it divides into two. Got it? Then it divides into two, and the most important function of this oculomotor nerve is accommodation and constriction of the pupil, accommodation of the image. Now suppose we see far off things, we see near off things, isn't it? So what is this? This is accommodation. So our lenses, they accommodate the image. Got it? So they increase in size or they decrease in size. Suppose we are looking in front at a distance, and suddenly we want to read. So again, this adjustment of the lens, got it, is called as the accommodation. Got it? So the best example is reading. So to see the near objects, the accommodation is different. To see far off objects, the accommodation is different. Got it? And this, along with the third cranial nerve, we have the fourth and the sixth cranial nerve. Okay, which are also supplying the muscles of the eyeball. So when you studied about the extraocular muscles, you did study about the various. So how to remember this? LR6. Got it? LR6. Lateral rectus is supplied by the sixth cranial nerve, that is the abducens nerve. Got it? LR6. Lateral rectus is supplied by the sixth cranial nerve. SO4. Got it? SO4. This SO4 means superior oblique muscle, and this superior oblique muscle is supplied by the fourth cranial nerve, that is the trochlear. Got it? It is supplied by the trochlear nerve. Rest all the muscles, whatever muscles are remaining, are supplied by the oculomotor nerve. Got it? So you have the superior oblique, you have the inferior oblique, you have the lateral rectus, you have the medial rectus, you have the superior rectus, you have the inferior rectus. So 4 recti and 2 oblique muscles you have, isn't it, for the extraocular muscles. So out of these 6 muscles, 2 muscles are supplied by the 4th and the 6th cranial nerve, and you have to remember. How will you remember? You'll remember it as LR6. Lateral rectus is supplied by the 6th cranial nerve, and SO4. SO4 you must have studied this thing, है ना, in chemistry, isn't it? So SO4, that is the superior oblique muscle, is supplied by the it is supplied by the 4th cranial nerve. Okay, remaining all the muscles are supplied by the 3rd cranial nerve, that is the oculomotor nerve. Now the oculomotor nerve, it originates from the midbrain. Now I'll show you which part of the midbrain. I'll show you the origin, the course and everything. Okay. So first of all, we have the midbrain. Got it? Then we have the pons. Then we have the medulla. Then this is the lateral ventricle and this is the cerebellum. Isn't it? Every time I've been drawing this. Got it? Just above over here. Here there are present the superior colliculus. Okay, is present the superior colliculus, and over here at near the superior colliculus, the 3rd cranial nerve originates by 2 nerves. Okay, sorry, 2 nuclei. One is the 3rd nerve nucleus, and the second is called as Edinger-Westphal nucleus. Got it? So this is the 3rd nerve nucleus. Okay, and this is the Edinger-Westphal nucleus. Okay, so this 3rd cranial nerve, it originates from the midbrain near the superior colliculus by 2 nuclei, the 3rd nerve nucleus and the Edinger-Westphal nucleus. Okay, 3rd nerve nucleus and the Edinger-Westphal nucleus. Now to show you into the section, okay, to show you into the section, okay, how it looks like. So how you will take a section? If this is the midbrain, you slice it this way. Got it? You slice it this way, and then what you see over here is the midbrain. Got it? You will see the midbrain. Okay, like this. Below this will be the pons, and below this will be the medulla. Okay, so you have the 3rd cranial, you have the midbrain, pons and medulla. Okay, now over here, this is the midbrain. Over here you will see a foramen. Got it? You will see a foramen. This foramen is cerebral aqueduct. Got it? This is the cerebral aqueduct in the center of the midbrain. Got it? You have the cerebral aqueduct, and this cerebral aqueduct connects the 3rd ventricle with the 4th ventricle. Isn't it? It connects the 3rd ventricle with the 4th ventricle on either side of the cerebral aqueduct. Okay? So see this bulge which you see. Got it? This bulge which you see over here, this is the superior colliculus. Got it? This is the superior colliculus. On either side of the cerebral aqueduct, you have the nucleus of the 3rd cranial nerve. Got it? You have the nucleus of the 3rd cranial nerve, and on the side of that you will have the nucleus, the Edinger-Westphal nucleus. Got it? On either side of this is present the Edinger-Westphal nucleus, and this is third nerve nucleus. Got it? This is the third nerve nucleus. Okay? Then we have the on either side of this Edinger-Westphal nucleus. Okay? On either side of the Edinger-Westphal nucleus, this is the medial lemniscus. This is the medial lemniscus, and below this third nerve nucleus is present the red nucleus. Got it? Is present the red nucleus. Red nucleus. Why I am telling you all this? Because these are all important. Because the nerve is passing through these structures, and any lesion in the upper part or lower part will give rise to various symptoms. So that's why you are supposed to know all these things. Okay? Then over here, got it? On the anterior aspect of the midbrain. Okay? Here this is the crus cerebri. Got it? This is the crus cerebri which is present. Got it? This is the crus cerebri which is present, and along this crus cerebri also you have the spinothalamic fibers. Got it? You have the spinothalamic fibers. Along the crus cerebri is present the spinothalamic fibers or corticospinal fibers. Got it? You have the corticospinal fibers. Then over here on the middle portion over here, got it? The middle portion over here, you have the posterior cerebral artery. Got it? Here is present the posterior, and in the midline will pass the middle cerebral artery. Got it? So this is the posterior cerebral artery, and this is the middle cerebral artery. Got it? You have the posterior cerebral artery, you have the middle cerebral artery. Okay? Now this third cranial nerve, got it, like this. Like this. Got it? It originates from the third nerve nucleus, from the Edinger-Westphal nucleus, and it will descend forwards. Got it? It will descend forwards. When it is descending forwards, what is happening? It is related to the red nucleus. And where these nuclei are present? They are present on either side of the cerebral aqueduct. Got it? These nuclei, they are present on either side of the cerebral aqueduct. You have the third nerve nucleus and the Edinger-Westphal nucleus. Got it? Now these two nuclei on either side, they are related to the medial meniscus, called medial lemniscus. Got it? They are related to the medial lemniscus. Okay? Then the nuclei gives origin to the nerve. Got it? The nuclei gives origin to the nerve. The nerve then passes on either side of the red nucleus. Got it? It passes from either side of the red nucleus, and when it passes through the red nucleus, it is related to the posterior cerebral artery and the middle cerebral artery. Got it? Here, after its origin, it is related to the posterior cerebral artery and the middle cerebral artery. Okay? Then it passes, see, now you are standing this way. The midbrain is present over here in the middle. So after its origin, it is passing forwards. Got it? So when it is passing forwards, in the brain, it is related to the lateral lemniscus on either side, the red nucleus in the center, and after crossing the red nucleus, the fibers are related to the posterior cerebral artery and the middle cerebral artery. From here, it crosses the posterior cranial fossa. It crosses the posterior cranial fossa and comes and lies in the middle cranial fossa. Got it? When it is crossing the posterior cranial fossa and coming into the middle cranial fossa, it is still related to the cerebral arteries. Got it? It is still related to the cerebral arteries. Okay, and these cerebral arteries, got it, they are the arteries as well as the third cranial nerve. They are covered by the pia mater and the subarachnoid matter, got it. The third nerve is enrolled, or it is engulfed by the pia mater and the arachnoid matter. After reaching the middle cranial fossa, what happens to this? Understood, everybody? So the origin of the third cranial nerve, it is in the middle, it is in the midbrain, got it. It is in the midbrain, and on either side of the cerebral aqueduct in the midbrain are present the nuclei of the third cranial nerve, and these nuclei are the nuclei of the third cranial nerve and the Edinger-Westphal nucleus, got it. These two give origin to the third cranial nerve. The fibers pass close to the red nucleus or by the side of the red nucleus, then they come to the level of crus cerebri. At the level of crus cerebri, it is related to the posterior cerebral artery and the middle cerebral artery, got it. It is related to the posterior cerebral artery and the middle cerebral artery. Okay, from here it is related to the free margins of the tentorium cerebri. Got it? Now this is all happening in the posterior cranial fossa. Then from the posterior cranial fossa, it goes into the middle cranial fossa, and in the middle cranial fossa, got it? This third nerve is related to the cavernous sinus. Got it? It is related to the cavernous sinus. So I will draw the diagram over here. This is the midbrain. This is the pons. This is the medulla. Okay. Okay. So here is the origin of the third nerve nucleus in the midbrain at the level of superior colliculus. At the level of superior colliculus. These two, they come out of the midbrain. Got it? These two, they come out of the midbrain, and here is present the red nucleus. Got it? So this is the red nucleus, and these two are nuclei of third cranial nerve. Got it? They are the nuclei of the third cranial nerve. When it comes out, got it? It is covered by a covering, that is the pia mater and the arachnoid matter. Which part of pia mater and which it is covered by? It is related to the free branches of the tentorium cerebelli. Got it? Then from here it comes, the nerve comes into the, got it? It passes from the posterior. Now this is the posterior cranial fossa. From the posterior cranial fossa, it comes into the middle cranial fossa. Got it? It comes into the middle cranial fossa, and in the middle cranial fossa, it lies within the cavernous sinus. Got it? So this is the cavernous sinus, isn't it? While teaching last time, it is like this, no? The cavernous sinus. Here this is the pituitary gland, isn't it? So here this is the cavernous sinus. So in this cavernous sinus lies the third cranial nerve. Got it? In this cavernous sinus lies the third cranial nerve. Okay? Understood? It lies in the third cranial nerve lies in the cavernous sinus. Now in the cavernous sinus, what is happening in the cavernous sinus? Okay? The cavernous sinus, this third cranial nerve is passing, and this third cranial nerve in the cavernous sinus is related to the internal carotid artery, isn't it? Internal carotid artery. So this red portion is the internal carotid artery. The internal carotid artery lies lower to the third cranial nerve, or lies lower to the oculomotor nerve, and above this lies the fourth cranial nerve and the sixth cranial nerve. So here you have the sixth cranial nerve, and here this is the fourth cranial nerve. So this is the relation of the oculomotor nerve in the cavernous sinus. Got it? So in the middle cranial fossa, the oculomotor nerve lies in the cavernous sinus, because see over here you have the foramen lacerum. Got it? Through this foramen lacerum enters this internal carotid artery like this, and it lies in the cavernous sinus. Got it? So this is foramen lacerum. So the cavernous foramen lacerum. So superior part of the foramen lacerum is crossing by the internal carotid artery. So from this foramen lacerum, this internal carotid artery crosses and it is entering into the cavernous sinus, where it lies below the oculomotor nerve. The internal carotid artery lies below the oculomotor nerve. Okay. Then from the cavernous sinus, the nerve comes out. Got it? The cavernous sinus, the nerve comes out, and here you have the superior orbital fissure. This is the superior orbital fissure. Got it? This is the superior orbital fissure. It passes into the superior orbital fissure and then goes into the orbit and divides into two branches, the superior branch and the inferior branch. Got it? It divides into superior branch and the inferior branch. Okay? It divides into three, that is the superior branch and the inferior branch. Okay? Up till now you understood. To repeat again, the oculomotor nerve is purely motor in nature. Got it? It originates from the midbrain. Got it? At the level of superior colliculus, there are presence of the two nuclei, the third nerve nucleus and the Edinger-Westphal nucleus. The third nerve nucleus and the Edinger-Westphal nucleus. Got it? So from these two nuclei originates the third cranial nerve. It passes close to the red nucleus. Got it? And then comes out into the posterior cranial fossa. In the posterior cranial fossa, it is related to the tentorium cerebelli, free margins of the tentorium cerebelli. Then from the posterior cranial fossa, it enters into the middle cranial fossa. In the middle cranial fossa, it is lying within the cavernous sinus. Got it? The relations in the cavernous sinus. Got it? The nerve is in the middle. Below the nerve is the internal carotid artery, and above the nerve is the fourth and the sixth cranial nerve. Got it? Above is the fourth and the sixth cranial nerve. From the middle cranial fossa, immediately the boundary, the lesser wing of the sphenoid, divides into two to form the superior orbital fissure. From this superior orbital fissure, this oculomotor nerve passes. Got it? Passes through the middle part of the superior orbital fissure and divides into superior and inferior branches. Got it? Superior and inferior branches, isn't it? Then over here I will draw oculomotor nerve, superior branch and inferior branch. Got it? So this is the oculomotor nerve, this is the superior branch, this is the inferior branch. Okay? Superior branch and inferior branch. The superior branch, it supplies two muscles. Got it? The superior branch supplies two muscles, that is the superior oblique muscle. Got it? It supplies the superior rectus muscle. Got it? It supplies the superior rectus muscle and it supplies the levator palpebrae superioris. That is the upper eyelid. Got it? That is the upper eyelid. It supplies the superior rectus muscle and the lateral rectus muscle. And the inferior branch, it supplies the inferior oblique. Got it? The inferior rectus and the medial rectus. Got it? The inferior branch supplies the inferior oblique, the inferior rectus and the medial rectus. Got it? So you have the levator palpebrae superioris and the superior rectus from the superior branch. from the inferior branch, inferior oblique muscle, inferior rectus and medial rectus. And the parasympathetic ganglionic branch. Got it? The parasympathetic ganglionic branch, it supplies the iris, pupil, lens. Got it? Parasympathetic branch. Got it? Parasympathetic branch, it supplies the iris, pupil and the lens and the ciliaris muscle. Ciliaris muscles. Got it? That are going to the hair of the eyelashes. Okay? So this is how you have the third cranial nerve. Midbrain. Got it? Posterior cranial fossa, middle cranial fossa, cavernous sinus, superior orbital fissure, then dividing into two branches, and the two branches are superior and inferior. The superior supplies the levator palpebris superioris, the superior rectus muscle. The inferior oblique muscle supplies the inferior oblique, inferior rectus, medial rectus. And the parasympathetic ganglionic branch. The parasympathetic ganglionic branch supplies the iris, pupil, ciliaris muscles and the lens. Ciliaris muscles and the lens. Okay. So this is how they are supplying the. Okay. This is how the course relation of the third cranial nerve. Okay, the third cranial nerve. So we have the lesions, we have the nuclear lesions, we have the peripheral lesions. Got it? We have the nuclear lesions and the peripheral lesions. Okay, we have the nuclear lesions and the peripheral lesion. In the nucleic lesion, got it? Since they are supplying the superior, they are supplying the muscles, there will be paralysis of the muscles. Got it? There will be paralysis of the muscles, and also there will be affection of the iris and the pupil. Got it? Also there will be affection of the iris and the pupil, where the pupil will be dilated. Got it? The pupil will be outturned. The pupil, like suppose if this is your eyes. Got it? This is your pupil. Got it? This is how it is present. But what will happen in case of nuclear lesion? Now this is the medial side, this is the lateral side. So the pupil will be outturned, and here you see the pupil, isn't it? So this pupil, rather than looking small, it will look big. Got it? It will look big and it will look dilated. It will be permanently dilated. Now another lesion is the Benedict syndrome. Got it? The Benedict syndrome, in this Benedict syndrome, there is ipsilateral nerve palsy. Got it? There is ipsilateral nerve palsy, and there is contralateral loss of sensation. Got it? There is contralateral loss of sensation, and there is contralateral distal limb weakness and flapping and tremors. Got it? Like this, like this. There is flapping and tremors. So ipsilateral means on the same side. Palsy of the nerves. Okay? The third one. That is, which muscles will be levator palpebris superioris, superior rectus, inferior oblique, inferior rectus, medial rectus. These are the muscles which will be paralyzed. And so the functions, you know the functions of these muscles: superior oblique, inferior oblique, lateral rectus, medial rectus, isn't it? So in rolling of the eyes, out rolling of the eyes, upward rolling of the eyes, downward rolling of the elevation, looking down, isn't it? So these are the muscles. So these muscles will be lost, and the pupil will be lying to the lateral side, and the pupil will be dilated. Got it? The pupil will be dilated, and along with this, since there is involvement of the parasympathetic nerve ganglions, got it? There will be parasympathetic, because they are the, see, there is lot more to speak about it. There is lot more to speak. You have the somatomotor fibers, which are originating from these nerve nucleus. The somatomotor fibers. Now to talk about this is, okay, you must have heard about vasa vasorum, isn't it? Vasa vasorum you must have heard about. What is this vasa vasorum? You have the muscle fibers. The muscle fibers, they are having filaments, isn't it? And these filaments, they are supplied by small arteries. This is called as vasa vasorum. Got it? Along with the arterial supply, there are nerve endings for these vasa vasorum. Got it? Along with the arterial supply, there is nerve ending for this vasa vasorum, and when this vasa vasorum is affected, what will happen? The muscle fibers, they will not be able to function. Got it? The muscle fibers, they will not be able to function, and the motor fibers, got it, they will not contract properly, and this will lead to continuous tremors and flapping of the distal part of the limbs because of weakness of the muscles. Got it? Because only this part, the distal part of the muscles, not the whole part, only this part of the muscles, along with the paralysis of the muscles of the eyes. Okay, so this is all about the oculomotor nerve. Got it? This is all about the oculomotor nerve. Okay, all of you, stay home, stay safe, take care of yourself. Okay, if you don't understand anything, please inform me please inform me your difficulties. I shall repeat it for you again. Okay, bye. Good, have a nice day.